Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome back to another flight with the FSLabs Airbus A321neo. Today we are going to fly from Lisbon to Natal in Brazil, which is a very interesting sector that only the A321LR can reasonably operate. We'll be carrying 141 passengers on this route, which is about 7 hours and 10 minutes, and we have not flown a route like this on the channel before, which is precisely what the A321neo is good for, that no other aircraft can really reasonably operate, because you just can't carry enough passengers, or rather you can't find enough passengers to really make it worth it with a larger aircraft such as an A330. Now, with that out of the way, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that can not just do your standard IFR A to B flight, but also other things like data link, like VFR, and a lot more, then look no further than Say Intentions. We'll be using them throughout today's video and flight, so if you do like what you're about to hear, then have a look using the link in the video description or the pinned comment below. And with that, let's get straight into it. So today we are once again going to fly from the first officer's seat. So let's take a seat over here. We're at gate 126 and we've got around, well, 20 minutes to the scheduled off-block time. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll actually start down here in our data link. So let's go to the ATSU, AOC menu and flight init. We're just going to do the flight initialization request here. It's the airportical flight 7 that we'll be doing today. And here we go. Crew details. It's me on the right hand seat today, 330 driver, and then we'll put, I don't know, we'll just call him captain on the left hand seat. Good, now let's go to boarding, next page, and get our catering going, because that will be the first thing for us to use. And then let's go to the OFP data. And in order to be able to fill this out, we need to check out our flight plan. Now, let's go into the briefing app, and then we can have a look over here. So let's go to NOTAM, and then let's scroll down a little bit. And here we are. This is going to be today's flight. So we are basically flying a very long straight line for about 7 hours. We have a small ETOP section across the Middle Atlantic that's based on, I think it's Sal, and then we've got our destination Natal as the other alternate airport. Now, significant weather chart, nothing on the first half, nothing on the second half. Down here there's a little turbulent area, but I don't think that we're even going to get into this. Now let's have a look at the airport weather. So lots of SIGMETs, of course. Our departure from Lisbon is actually looking pretty good, and I guess it's going to be a runway 22 for our takeoff, but we'll see about it. Our destination in Natal is very good. Some reduced visibility, showers of rain, but that's just typical for this location at this time of the year. And then our first alternate in Recife has pretty much exactly the very same weather conditions. Fortaleza, a second alternate, is just as good. And with that, let's head up into the very top of our plan. So, leaving Lisbon at 10:50, we're going to arrive 3 minutes delayed. So we might want to carry a little bit of extra fuel here. We are not critical with either our takeoff or landing weights. And we're cruising at level 310 at first, 320 later, and 340 at the very end. You can see there's no star plan, so we might want to take a little bit of fuel for that part as well. Now, let's go downstairs and have a look. So 20.5, well, 20.6 would be the minimum fuel for us to take. However, we are probably going to take a little bit more. So let's think about it. Cost index 100 saves us 12 minutes at the cost of 1,400 kilos extra. And I'm kind of inclined that we are actually going to take those today. So we want to arrive on time, because this airplane is going to fly on another route. So yeah, let's take 1,400 extra. That leads us from 21.6 to 22 tons. So I suppose that that's exactly what we're going to take, 22 tons. Alright, and while we're on it, we've got OFP number 5. So, OFP number 5 and 22 tons of fuel. scheduled departure 10:50, 0 fuel weight, that's all tracked, so let's send that out. If you're wondering how I'm operating my MCDU without actually hitting any buttons, I recently got myself the Windwing MCDU, and it works out of the box and really, really well with our FSLabs as well as Phoenix Airbus. Now, let's have a look into our boarding menus, and I think this is actually looking pretty good. So all we're waiting for is catering to complete, and that should be done in a few minutes. Then we can start boarding at, let's say, 36. So 1036 and request. And if catering isn't done by that time, then we'll just have to adjust accordingly. Alright, cool. So that stuff's filled out. Finally, let's request our departure weather. And that's it. Now, let's go ahead and start with our preliminary cockpit preparation. So the engine master levers are off, mode selector norm, weather radar is off, landing gear lever down, wipers off, and the batteries are on and checked. So let's bring the ADRs on, then we can do the APU fire test, which is okay, and then let's go ahead and start up the APU, because it is rather warm outside and we do want it to be nice and comfy for our passengers. Okay, so APU is starting. Then I'm going to leave the radios off for the time being, that is fine. And then we do have VHF 1, VHF 2, and we'll go for the interphone as well. Like this, and make sure that the speakers are turned up. Like this, and like this. Wonderful, cockpit lights are set, then we can go into the EFB. And in here, we'll need the Navigraph charts. Import, and all charts prepared, lovely. And then we can do a preliminary takeoff calculation. For that, I think we can actually keep all the data we have over here. So runway 20, I guess. Let's see if we can do uniform 5. We actually can. But how much better is the flex when we take the full length? Okay, that is such a great difference. We will taxi to the full length. Otherwise we are just screwing the engines, which we don't want. Okay, that's looking good for me. And with that, we are pretty much done on the EFB. Got a couple ACAS messages, let's just work over them while we've got the time. So, weather in Lisbon, variable 6 knots and 24 degrees 1016. That's a slot at 11:03 and load sheet. So we are limited by max takeoff weight because we are just 3,000 kilos below it. That's fine. 141 guests expected, and we have 100% portable water, no catering deductions, and fuel in tanks 22,000. Okay, reply and accept. And that's it up here. Then let's go into the aircraft acceptance. So recall for 3 seconds. It's looking good. So what do we have in the status here? Autopilot, flight controls, and DC bus tie. Yeah, they can still do that at some point. Okay, tech lock. And here's 2 items. So the table I don't care about, but taxi light inoperative. So taxi light in per mil 334006 alpha. Let's find that. Documents and mel. So items 33 lights. So taxi light, where is it? That's landing lights. Let's actually see which mel item did they use. 4006 alpha. Here we go. Taxi and takeoff lights. It's a Cat Charlie item, that means 10 days to repair it. And look at that, it's CO only. Interesting. Don't we have that item for the Neo? anywhere? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, interesting. So they used the MEL of the CO. That means technically speaking we're grounded. Because this MEL is not applicable to our aircraft, therefore we have a broken item that is not applicable to our airplane. That means we can't fly. However, I'm fairly sure that they just forgot to write NEO on here. So let's actually use this. So it's a Cat Charlie item. We've got 2 of those installed. 0 are required. Placard needs to be in place. And it is. Okay. And 1 or both may be inoperative. So we can fly without any trouble. Alright, good. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the briefing, and then let's get to our aircraft configuration summary. It's an A321-200 CFM LEAP 1A engines. We've got automatic nav on go-around, we've got the reduced go-around thrust option installed, and apart from that, nothing special. No OEBs, and with that we are fit for service. So, preliminary takeoff calculation is done, oxygen is okay. Hydraulic quantity is okay. Let's check the oil quantity. And that's okay. They actually filled it up. Okay, flap setting is up, agrees with the lever, and spoiler is retracted. I'm not going to test the park and brake. I'm not going to test the park and brake because that has a tendency to disconnect the external power. That's fine. Okay, and with that our aircraft is fit for service. Then let's go straight into the remainder of our procedures. So, oxygen supply on, flight recorder is on and tested, everything good, everything good. Lights are set, we are still refueling. Battery test is looking good. Pumps stay off as we are still refueling. Engine number 1 fire test is good. Engine number 2 fire test is good. Alright, down here everything's set. Let's assume we have some temperature sensitives. So I'm just going to set something rather warm in here. 23 degrees-ish. Alright, that's set, that's set. CBs are all in. And then we can move down to the main panel. So what was our QNH again? 1016. Set. 23rd of June 25. Down here everything's done. Weather radar is set. Down here everything is set. Down here as well. We'll do the frequencies a little bit later. For ATC it's going to be transponder 2 as we're flying from the right seat. Standby above, ATC mode auto, and Squawk 2000. Okay, and then we get to the frequencies. So, Navigraph chart, airport chart, delivery 18955. And ground 121755. Alright, ATIS 121955. Is now also set. Nice, alright, and then we get straight into our MCDU setup. So, still brief dispatch, flight plan. Oh. And here we go. They should have found a better solution to scrolling on this, but it's fine for now. Okay, so, data, aircraft status, and we've got an A321-200 LEAP 1A, nav database up to date. So, in it, let's see, we're going from Lisbon to Natal, SPSG, alternate receiver, and our call sign, TAP 007. Cost index 25, flight level 310, that's all correct so far. Temperature is not though, it should be minus 42. Okay, ground temperature is 23, that's fine. Okay, so Lisbon, departure. And I think we actually got to find out what they use.
Tour 24. Dew.17. QNH 1016. Density altitude 1400 feet. Arriving and departing runway 2. Transition level 45. Caution bird activity. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Foxtrot. Humberto Delgado Air.
So it is Foxtrot runway 2 and that's entered. And for the arrival they're expecting runway 12, so let's just plan the ILS Zulu down here. And we have no star, we have no via, it's going to be all radar vectored from our position. Okay, so emergencies, PPT02 slash, let's see, runway track, interesting, certainly not 309. Okay, then we gotta look at the chart. 025. For 25 miles, PBD create and hold over there. That's looking good. Immediate return, LPPT and ILS 02. No star, no via. Thank you. Okay, same thing going into the fix info. Here we go. No, data, pilot's routes. Now this is gonna be Liz and what's the other one? Nut. Okay, let's see. We're departing via Bevop 1 Lima departure. Direct Baroque, Upper November 873 Samar. Direct Usme, direct Lima. And then November 873 Ipera, Upper November 873 Siret. Distance 3132 versus 3131. Lovely. Alright, good. So now for our weights. We're expecting 63.7 and 25 and 22 tons of fuel. And for our fuel patch, 0.8, 1.5 and 1. Alright, that's all looking good. Now let's go for the takeoff calculation. And that's config 2, 50 degrees. With takeoff speeds of 69, 69, 69. So, reduction in acceleration should be 1001. No, they want NADP 1 here in Lisbon, so let's give them that. Field elevation 355, so we'll do reduction in 1355 and acceleration 3355. Alright, and 1860 in here. That's good. Finally, LPPT 02. So, cruising 310, optimum 320, maximum 351. Alright, so step altitudes. Flight level 320 at Lima. And later flight level 340 at Tarsio. Okay, and that's saving a whopping minute and 100 kilos. Insert. Good. So with that we're done with our MCDU. So constraints, VORs, then we can go into the plan mode and cross-check the SID. What do they have in here? After takeoff, contact Lisbon approach when passing 1000, mentioning only call sign passing altitude. Okay. That's fine with me. Initial plan clearance level 100. Set. And then the SID takes us straight out to M part above 3000, right, Papa Tango 754. So we got NPOD above 3000 and 757 in here. Ah, that's because we're flying the long one. Okay, that's fine. So 757, 758, and then towards 755 above level 160, and then Narcos Bebop, which is what we've got. Okay, that's fine. Alright, refueling is complete. Here we go. Wonderful, so I'd say pretty much everything is done. Ground flight deck. Mind your ears, oxygen test. Okay, and the same would be done on the other side as well, of course. Alright, and with that we are ready for our briefing. Scheduled off block is now, but they are still loading. And they still have quite some luggages to load. Okay, that's fine. So, for the briefing, we're departing Lisbon runway 02. We have the Bebop 1 Lima departure. Initial 10,000, MSA 4,000, and extra fuel and time. That's 54 minutes, 2,200 kilograms. Alright, thanks for that. Hotspots for taxi routing. That's, well, the taxi structure at this airport is a rather complicated one. So we are standing over here, I assume Golf and then Uniform Mike, but it might as well turn out to be something southbound here, like Alpha Mike. We'll see about it. They have lots of options and we've got lots of hotspots over here, so just pay careful attention that we don't turn onto the wrong taxiways. Now, stop margin for rejected takeoff is 108 meters plus the TUS effect. Engine outside straight at 25, climbing 4000. If we need to come back, we're above the max landing weight, so overweight landing procedure as required with a core point of turning the APU and APU bleed on, provided that we don't have an engine fire. In general, immediate return only for fire, and anything else just go into the holding and see what we're about to do. Don't rush anything, that's the most important thing. Tailwind for takeoff is known, and that means we gotta be a little bit careful with those takeoff speeds up here, but we'll get to that. Well, it has calculated 5 knots tailwind already, that's okay. Alright, yeah, what else do we have? Honestly, nothing. Nothing special, nothing non-standard. So that's it. Any questions? No? Beautiful. So let's see. ADSC is armed. Message record is erased. Beautiful. So then let's get our departure clearance and we can send the fuel report as well. That's 6408. Liters, density 0.802, difference 0.3, fine, send. Okay, then ATC, pre-departure clearance. We have ATIS information Foxtrot. We are the TAP 007. Gate number is 126. Okay, and SAMT. Let's see if they have a data link clearance for us or not. If not, that's not going to be a problem either, then we're going to collect it via voice. Okay. So, still loading the bags, but passengers should all be on board already. Let's actually find out. So, what's her name again? Astrid, are you here?
Emmanuel, boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Thank you. Is boarding finished already? Is the boarding finished already? Oh, she's it's not listening. Astrid, is boarding completed? Well, they're just closing the cargo doors, so I guess the answer will be yes. Alright, in the meantime, let's see. Request
Yes,
status
Captain,
in
boarding is
process.
completed. All passengers are on board and settled in. Ready for the next steps.
Thank you.
Yes, Captain, boarding is completed. All
Oh, now
passengers
she
are on
starts
board and
talking.
settled in. Ready for the next steps.
Okay, here's our clearance. Clear to Natal.
Yes, Captain, boarding is
Able
completed.
1...
All passengers
Yeah,
are on
you
board
said
and
that,
settled
thank
in.
you.
Ready for the next steps.
Babel 1 Lima departure, maintain 4000. Okay, departure 12513. And squawk 5724, expect runway 2. Wilco 5724. So, runway 2, Babel 1 Lima departure. Good. Then let's just get the winds. And with everything done, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. So, gear pits and covers removed. Fuel quantity 21,970 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs. Nav, baroref, QNH 1016. Reading 350? Yeah. Okay, cockpit preparation checklist complete and not HLA guideline, please. Aircraft acceptance, ETOPS PDSC checked, RBSM equipment checked, clock and GPS mode checked, HF checked, message log erased, ADSC armed, ATC auto position reports off, IRS full align performed, ground speed 0, not HLA waypoints on OFP with primary flight plan cross-checked, wind data is entered, and not HLA guideline complete down to oceanic entry. Alright, so by now the boarding should also be completed, so let's see about the load sheet. Yep, there it is. 63.4. And the CG is 23.2. Alright, 85.2 takeoff weight, and yeah, I don't believe that up there. Okay, 85.3, 135, so missing quite a couple passengers. We'll accept that, but let's go into the options, payload. Here we can see the true CG, 24.1. So 85.4, 24.1. We can keep the weight, but $24.1. Okay, and that's runway 02 at the full length. Well, let's take November 2 figures. And for the wind data, we'll make this minus... Oh, it doesn't understand minus, okay. No, it does. Minus 6. Okay, calculate. So, conf 2 flex 50. 32 meter stop margin. Let's take something in the middle here, 165, and then 169, 169. And trim is up 1.2. So flaps 2 slash up 1.2 and 165, 169, 169. Alright, takeoff data checked. And that's all good. Happy with it as it is. Alright, wonderful. So let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel in the name of Air Portugal. Welcome aboard our Airbus A321LR on our flight to Natal. Flight time today is 7 hours and 10 minutes, and we are just finishing up the last paperwork and expect to push back in the next few minutes. Thank you very much for being on board. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. We will get back to you with the latest weather when we start our approach, but until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy your stay on board. I'm not even gonna try Portuguese, so let's go. So, door is closed, APU is on. They can remove all the ground equipment. So, options, external. So, disconnect AC, disconnect GPU, and then GSX. Request. Pushback and departure. Okay. Lisbon delivery, Air Portugal 007, fully ready for pushback and startup. Transponder coming on.
Air Portugal 007, Lisbon clearance, contact ground on 121.755 for pushback and startup clearance.
121.755, Air Portugal 007. Lisbon ground, Air Portugal 007, request pushback and startup.
Air Portugal 007, pushback and startup approved, face south.
Pushback and startup approved, facing south, Air Portugal 007. Okay, that's going to be nose right, so that's the first option up there. So, ground from flight deck. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. Well, that's all confirmed. Okay, thanks. We're clear to push facing south, and the parking brake is now released. Roger. Start and pushback, stand by for engines. Standing by. And before start checklist. So, parking brake, released. Takeoff speeds and thrust. 165, 169, 169, flex
Emmanuel,
50.
the cabin is ready for departure.
Thanks. Windows closed and beacon on before start checklist complete. Okay, better late than never, and here we go. So, loads of Neos over here. Probably all gonna fly either into the States or to South America today. Just lovely what types of routes you can fly with this airplane. So, didn't I say nose right? Fairly sure I did. And we can add one more to the kill count down here. Okay, well, ground flight, starting engines 1 and 2 in that sequence. No, we are facing south. Okay, my mistake. Engine 1 start. Push completed, set brakes. Brake set. Okay, good start in engine 1, starting engine 2. Clear 2. And engine 2 is starting, ground equipment is getting removed. And there's the ramp agent holding a pin in his hands. Lovely. Okay, everything is actually working out the way we wanted to. Nice, so the pin is seen, and we have a good start on engine number 2. Clear to disconnect, clear sign left, bye bye. Alright,
Alpine 73903, ready to taxi.
Alpine 73903, taxi to runway 2 via Alpha 2, Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4, November 2.
Okay. So,
2
clear
via
signal is
Alpha 2,
received.
Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike
What
3,
do we
Mike
have
4,
on the
November
status
2, Alpine
page?
73903.
In-up system pack 2. Why is that? Why are the packs both? Here we go. That took a while. Welcome to Airbus. Alright, after start checklist. Anti-ice off, ecom status checked, pitch trim. What's that? 25% set, rudder trim,
Air Portugal
neutral.
434, contact
After
tower
start
on
checklist
118.105.
Okay.
Tower, Air Portugal 434.
Air Portugal 007, request taxi.
Air Portugal 007, taxi to runway 2 via Alpha 4, Alpha 3, Alpha 2, Mike 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4.
Taxi order point runway 02 via Alpha and Mike, Air Portugal 007. So, the taxi light is broken, then let's use the takeoff light. And we clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Taxi route is fairly easy. Alpha, Mike.
Air Portugal 1034, contact tower on 118.105.
Switching to tower, Air Portugal 1034.
Brake released. Brake check. Pressure 0. So we'll wait until we clear the apron, and once we are, then we are going to do the flight control check.
American 259er, pushback approved.
Push and start approved. American 259er.
So 15 knots. Then is our en route map loading? No, it's not. This is something I really hope they are going to fix, because they actually made a very nice implementation of the en route chart, but unfortunately it's not working. Okay, so crossing Yankee, so the next one to the right is Mike, and that's going to be for us. Okay, so back down to 10 knots for the coming turn.
American 259er, taxi to runway 2 via Bravo, Whiskey 1, Whiskey 2,
Okay,
Whiskey
flight
3,
control
Quebec
check.
3, Quebec 2, Quebec 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4, November 2.
Full up. Full down.
2 via Bravo. Whiskey 1, Whiskey 2, Whiskey 3, Quebec 3,
Full
Quebec
left.
2, Quebec 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4, November 2, American 259er.
Full left. Full right. Neutral. Funny how there's KLM and Lufthansa at the low-cost terminal. British Airways as well. And TAP as well. I mean, there should be more like Ryanair and stuff like that. Okay, no changes to the takeoff briefing.
Ground, Alpine 85, Alpha Romeo, taxi to the
And I
ramp.
think that's it.
Alpine 85, Alpha Romeo, taxi to parking via Sierra 4, cross runway 02, then Sierra 3, Alpha 7, Alpha 6, Alpha 5, Whiskey 1, Delta.
Okay, we have the cabin
Sierra 4,
ready.
cross runway 02, then Sierra 3,
Taxi
Alpha 7,
checklist,
Alpha 6, Alpha
please.
5, Whiskey 1, Delta Alpine 85, Alpha
So
Romeo.
flight controls checked. Flap setting.
Alpine
152.
73903, contact tower on
Waiting for the
118.105.
On
to tower,
and auto.
Alpine
Engine
7393.
start selector. Norm. Eco memo. Takeoff. No blue. Taxi checklist complete. Okay, the Alpine's taking November. We are taking Mike. That's excellent.
Air Portugal 007, contact tower on 118.105. Take care.
118.105, Air Portugal 007. Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 007, ready for departure.
Air Portugal 007, Lisbon Tower, runway 02, hold short. You are number 1 behind the A320T.
Hold short runway 02, Air Portugal 007. Just where has that
Air
airplane
Portugal
gone?
007, Lisbon Tower, runway 02, winds 120 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 02, clear for takeoff, Air Portugal 007.
Air Portugal 007, hold short of runway 02, Chroma 02.
Hold short runway 02, Air Portugal 007. Okay, so what was that?
Air Portugal 007, maintain present altitude of 4500 feet until further instructions.
Air Portugal 007, ready for departure. I'm looking into the message log from Say Intentions here. For some reason it understood that we wanted to hold for Chroma 02.
Air Portugal 007, runway 02, winds 120 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 02, clear for takeoff, Air Portugal 007. Sometimes it's interesting what the AI understands and makes out of it. Okay, so, lineup checklist. Takeoff runway, that's 02 for length.
02.
TA RA, packs 1 and 2. Here we go, are now off. And that's the lineup checklist complete. Are you ready? Takeoff.
On runway 02.
Flex 50, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. Knots. V1, rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Map. Check. And as per the chart, at 1000 we call departure. Lisbon departure at Portugal 007, passing 1400. Thrust climb, auto thrust.
Air Portugal 007, Lisbon departure identified. Climb flight level 040.
Don't scream at me. This controller again. We had him in Portugal.
Air Portugal 007. I wasn't screaming, just ensuring clarity. Maintain 4,000 feet.
Thank you, maintaining 4,000 feet at Portugal 007. Look at how friendly he can become. And now it's 4,000 instead of flight level as well. Very nice.
Air Portugal 007, roger. Maintain 4,000 feet.
So that is how you tame an air traffic controller. Open climb. Why not managed? Climb. So flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. So we don't have any speed restriction.
Air Portugal 007, climb flight level 210.
Air Portugal 007, climb flight level 210. Okay, flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. And 21,000 blue. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 44. Now. Okay, so that went quite alright. We had to convince a couple of air traffic controllers to behave, but what I found funniest was that after I told him not to scream at me, he actually tamed his voice. Did you hear that? Just go back in the video and listen to that again. He was really, you know, he had that screamy attitude before. Then I told him to calm down, and he actually did. That's one of the nice things about AI. They can actually do stuff even if you ask stupid things from them. Okay, autopilot 2. Now let's see if we can get a shortcut. What's that waypoint on our right? Papa Tango 755. Air Portugal 007, any chance to proceed direct to Papa Tango 755?
Air Portugal 007, proceed direct to Papa Tango 755.
Direct Papa Tango 755, Air Portugal 007. And for this, I'm not even going to comment on the fact that he slowly is returning to his screamy voice. Okay. That sounded
Air
turbulent.
Portugal 007, climb and maintain flight level 280.
Air Portugal 007, climb and maintain flight level 280. 28,000 blue. Or flight level 280 blue. Okay. Passing 10,000, lights off. We'll keep the seatbelts on until we're out of that turn. Then, well, that level 160 restriction is not going to be a problem. We'll be in 205 over there, so yeah. Okay, clear and copy, please. Alright, cruising 310, optimum 320. Well, when do we need to do our step climb to an even level? 225 into the flight. Okay, I tell you what, then we are going to request flight level 330. Alright, so connection, notification, LPPC, and notify. Notified, wonderful. So, that's about all we need to do for now. So, seatbelts going off. Now let's see about our arrival time. 18:26, and the schedule is 18:20. Okay, let's see if we can win that one. It says 18:27 now, 5.6 tons. Let's do cost index 80. 10 and 5.1. Okay, now we are on time. Beautiful. And that's 0.79. Yeah, we can do that. Let's just try one lower. Let's try 50. 19. Okay, current unit, Lisbon control. No, we'll do 80. That's fine. Arrival at 11. And then we can send our altitude request to ATC as well, now that they've logged onto CPDLC. Okay, request flight level 330 due to aircraft performance. Sent. Wonderful. And we have another message here. Climb flight level 310. Okay. Flight level 310 blue. Wonderful. So that's about everything we needed to do up here. So, for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us.
Natal approach, Air Portugal 007. Good afternoon. Descending from flight level 150 to flight level 130.
Air Portugal 007, Natal approach identified. Good afternoon, expect the ILS Yankee runway 12 approach into Sao Gonçalo.
Expecting the ILS Yankee runway 12 approach into Sao Gonçalo. Air Portugal 007.
Alright, ILS Yankee approach, runway 12 it is. And with that, we are getting very close to our destination airport. We've just received radar vectors towards the final, and we can have a look into what I've prepared for our landing. Now, let's start with the basics. It's an ILS Yankee approach. There are no stars that would be relevant for us over at this airport. You can see it's only from flights coming from the continental area, but not for flights coming from the ocean. Now, I've simply entered the ILS Yankee 12 via NIMPY. If we're going to get that or if they are going to send us elsewhere, we don't know yet, but we'll find out. And this is what it looks like on the ND. So over here to NIMPY, and then we've got the final onto there. So basically it's a very easy approach, one would say. But we'll find out what ATC has in store for us. Now, the weather is very good, so I'm actually going to go onto the terrain here because there are a couple hills in the area. And then we have, well, I'll get to it in a moment because we are just about approaching the coastline here. And honestly, this just looks quite nice, doesn't it? Doesn't look like huge beaches over here, but that one looks fine. Then again, the water probably isn't too warm here either, but I have no idea. It's my first time in this area of the world on the channel. So here we are, reaching Brazil, reaching South America. A continent that we don't visit very
Air
often on this
Portugal
channel, but one that's
007,
worth it all
turn
the time.
left heading 265.
Left heading 265, Air Portugal 007. Okay, heading 265. So, I don't want to waste my time going heads down because I want to enjoy the beautiful scenery here, so let's just go straight into the briefing if that's okay for you guys.
Air Portugal 007, descend altitude 3000.
Air Portugal 007, descend altitude 3000. Air Portugal 007, request QNH.
Air Portugal 007, roger, maintain 3000 feet. Air Portugal 007, QNH 1014.
QNH 1014, Air Portugal 007. So, set QNH 1014, cross-check, passing 12,000. Now. Okay, so far so good. Then let's go for the briefing. Radar vector, Silas Yankee approach, runway 12. Minimum 473, go around straight at 2000, and then it's gonna be left turn back to Nimpi, climbing 3,500. Extra fuel and time, 1 hour and 6 minutes in the form of 2.7 tons. Alright, thanks for that. As you mentioned, radar vectors, we will be using the flight directors. Actually, we might turn the flight directors off today and land without flight directors. Config full, second detent or maximum reverse. I'm still kind of in the 737 there with my second detents. So, maximum reverse, auto brake low, vacate the runway to the left, either on the first or the second exit. We'll see what they have in store for us. So landing over here, 1-2, we might make Delta Delta, otherwise it's going to be Charlie Charlie. Then I guess via Bravo and Foxtrot to the terminal over there. Nothing special, nothing non-standard. Anything from your side? No? Easy. So that's our briefing complete. Then we're passing 10,000. Lights on, signs on, constraints, LS. And we've got GPS primary with a high accuracy. Lovely. Okay, cool. Approach checklist, please. Barrel ref, QNH 1014. Seatbelts on, minimum, Barrow 473, auto brake, low, engine mode selector, norm, approach checklist complete. Nice. Okay, thruster, load and descent. I have a feeling we're not going to need Nimpi anymore. Extend the center line, please, from Aceto. So, what's the runway course? Let's see, opposite is 300 exactly. Okay, that's easy. So, insert. And pull heading. Heading. Alright, that was easy.
Air Portugal 007, turn left heading 140.
Turn left heading 140, Air Portugal 007. Heading 140. So, that turn gives us the opportunity to enjoy some of the beautiful scenery down here. It also gives us the opportunity... What is this? Well, where does that come from? I don't have it on my side. And that looks very buggy. I was just about to enjoy the scenery when I started enjoying some beautiful bugs down here. Look at that. No clue where that comes from.
Air Portugal 007. Proceed direct. ES Edo. Descend altitude 2000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 12 approach.
Air Portugal 007. Direct ES Edo. Descend 2000. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 12. Nav. So, the computer says we're a bit high. Then let's do the computer a favor and give it some speed brake. And here's the glide. Yeah, easy going. And now the ND is fixed over here as well. Don't ask me what that was. I suppose I don't even want to find out. So, how much speed brake can we use before we get into VLS? I think it's gonna be a lot today. Full speed brake? Yeah, full speed brake. Excellent. Alright, cool. Then let's have some fun. Flight directors off, bird on, set runway track. Speed. And here we go. That's easier, isn't it? Let's just do everything on ourselves. So, 17 miles, 5,000, that glide slope here looks accurate. Approaching. Okay, so 500 feet is the terrain elevation here. That looks quite okay. Now, where's my ILS chart? Here it is. Okay, manage speed. Can't manage it. Interesting. Okay, I tell you what, activate approach phase. I will try again. This is better.
Air Portugal 007. Contact Sao Goncalo Tower on 118.2.
118.2, Air Portugal 007. Checked. Tower Air Portugal 007, established ILS 12. Localizer alive.
Air Portugal 007, Sao Goncalo Tower, roger. Continue approach runway 12.
Continue approach runway 12, Air Portugal 007. Alright, nice headwind. Nicely on the center line.
Air Portugal 007, winds 160 at 7, runway 12, clear to land.
Runway 12, clear to land, Air Portugal 007. Glide slope alive. Flaps 2. Speed checked. So, give me 160 knots, please. Just loving the pitch over here. FSLabs captured that very well. Okay, gear down. Blast of capture. Go around 3,500 set. Alright, manage speed and flaps 3, speed checked, flap 3, flaps full, speed checked, flaps full, landing checklist, ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Okay, speed is checked, correcting. Alright, the field is inside at our 12 o'clock.
1000.
Checked. So the wind is going to turn to the right and loosen strength. Landing checklist is complete, the crew is seated. Cabin ready is received. Very well. And we are 7 hours in the air in an A321.
Approaching.
It's just
1,
amazing,
2.
isn't it? It's a very nice plane, that Mio. Lovely terrain down here.
200.
Just forests.
100 above.
And some dirt roads. Checked.
Minimum.
Continue. A little bumpy here.
100. 50. 40. 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel, brake low. We'll take the second exit.
1,500 meters remaining.
Manual brakes.
Air Portugal 007. Welcome to São Gonçalo. Contact ground on 121.7.
121.7, Air Portugal 007. Okay, looking for stand number 8. Ground, good evening, Air Portugal 007. Request taxi to gate 8.
Air Portugal 007, taxi to gate 8 via Charlie Charlie, Bravo Foxtrot. Good day.
Gate 8 via Charlie Charlie, Bravo Foxtrot, Air Portugal 007.
Air Portugal 007, taxi to gate 8 via Charlie Charlie, Bravo Foxtrot.
Taxi to gate 8 via Charlie Charlie, Bravo Foxtrot, Air Portugal 007. You said that already, my friend. So, temperature is 29. I'll tell you what, we'll leave the flaps out, it doesn't hurt. Okay, we'll keep the nose light on takeoff since the taxi setting is inoperative. After landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear off after landing checklist complete. And I think we've already reached our 3 minutes after landing, so let's shut down engine 2. So, first time we do a single engine taxi. But it's also the first time that we have a rather light aircraft, so I'm not gonna complain. In the meantime, ATSU, ALC menu, gate 8. And that's going to call GSX to that gate. That's a functionality that I do really like, by the way. Okay, Bravo and Foxtrot. So we take the second one to the right. By the way, interesting to note, there is zero traffic over here, even though we definitely have traffic generation on. Well, there is one, an ATR. Okay, then I said nothing. And look at that, even on a single engine it's still accelerating. Pretty nice. Okay, so 10 knots. Start APU. Lights off. And the strobes are off. Good. So, gate 8, here it is. So, nice little 3 knots into the gate. And stop. Park and brake set. APU bleed on. Elect pump off. And APU is available. Good. Cabin crew, all doors in park. All right. Parking checklist, please. Parking brake trucks, brake set, engines off, wing light off, fuel pumps off, parking checklist complete. So, they're docking the jetway, then let's see, transponder, standby, and 2000. 8 years is looking good. Then we can turn it off. And fuel 17. Versus 17.4. Okay, not sure where we saved those kilos, but I'm not going to complain. Alright, and that's it. With that, welcome to Brazil. Now we are going to disembark over here. The airplane will fly on. In the meantime, we can collect a little bit of equipment. So external controls, GPU connect, chocks are in place, wonderful. So we can release the park and brake. And, well, I suppose they could have ground air conditioning here as well. So let's just turn that off, packs off, APU off. And that's it. So the brakes are showing hot, let's see. Yeah, 300, that's okay. After a landing like this weight, this temperature, absolutely expected. Well, and with that, welcome to Natal. I do hope you guys enjoyed this flight as much as I did. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Let me know which route you'd like me to fly next. And if you like today's ATC, check out Say Intentions AI using the link in the pinned comment or the video description below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, it was a pleasure flying for you. If you loved what I'm doing, then I would appreciate a small donation using the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. But until then, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.